Today we are talking about everything I have from Flower Nose, and this is not even all of it. I have like a bunch more and more. So this is gonna be a very long video. So let's just not talk too much and get right into it. So the first category, normally it would be primer, but I have never tried any primer from them. They do have one or more, at least one. And it's like a color correcting primer, and I personally don't use primer, so I don't have that one. But I have heard people that love the formulation, but I cannot personally say I love it or not because, again, I haven't tried it. And they, at this point, do not have a foundation. And if they ever release one, I think I do have high hope for their formulation, but I do not have high hope for their shade range because I don't think this is a brand that works hard for like inclusion. If anything, they have always been exclusive with their shade range, which is gonna be proved by this product. This, oh no, not this one, I hold the wrong bottle. This one. This is from their Midsummer Fairytales collection, and this is their color corrector. I have the shade VA03. This is either the darkest shade or the second to the darkest. But does it look like it? Does it look like a second to darkest or the darkest shade? I think they have 4 shades. And if you ask me, I think this is a pretty sheer shade, right? Not sheer, fair, pretty fair shade. This is probably still for light skinned people, but it still works for me because the coverage is not that good because, again, it's a corrector, it's not a concealer. It does have some sort of coverage. I would say like medium probably, and it has a creamy texture, and it's not like a very dewy type of formulation. It's, if you blend it, it's like a natural finish. Okay, like I really like this formulation. I think it's very smoothing. It's not hard to work with. It's just the shade range. If you can find the shade that works for you, and you do want this sort of color correcting under eye product, or I think it could better to just be used as a highlighting type of product, which I think it works well. I do really like the formulation. I just hope they extend their shade range. But knowing Flower Nose and majority of the C Beauty brands, I think if they ever do that, they are more likely to extend on the more fair side rather than the darker side. That's what they always do. So yeah, that's it. Love the formulation. Love the shade that I have. It works for me as a highlighting shade, but the shade selection overall, not perfect at all. This is from, I think, Strawberry Cupid, and this is supposed to be their cream or liquid blush, but the shade 06 is a contouring shade. It's like very gray shade, and I believe this is not in the global market range because they usually have like 1 or 2 shades switched in their global range, which is quite confusing. I think I confirmed this once, and the shade 04 is another shade. It doesn't look like this, which I actually hope they just release this, because it's not like people from the global market don't need like a good gray like contouring shade. I can use like a little bit of it. And I'm using like, again, really a little bit of it. And I think the shade is great for nose especially. I don't do like cheek or face contour. I only do my nose because I don't really have the skill. I feel like every time if I try to do that, I just look muddy around this area, so I just avoid that. And even if I'm doing product review, I don't feel like I should do that, because if it doesn't look good, I don't know if it's my skill or the product. But this one, I think the shade works great as a nose contour. It's not like a muddy shade, it's just like a true shadow shade, and if you just be careful, don't like directly apply this on your nose because it's gonna be too much. It's pretty easy to control if you just know how to control it, you know. Use it, put it on the back of your hand first. These four. Let's talk about these. You know, I just talked about the contouring shade, and the shade 04 is a legit blush, liquid blush shade. It's this pinky peachy shade. Yeah, red packaging, maybe it leads you to think it's a red, but it's actually not. And I believe this is the more or the most saturated shade in this range. So if you think this shade most likely wouldn't work for you, you probably shouldn't get from this collection, because again, this is already the most vibrant shade. There's no more deeper shade than this, and I rarely see them ever extend their shade range. If anything, they'll just do a new collection. That's what they do. So yeah, but the formulation is very, very, very great. See, that is like a very pretty peachy shade, and it blends very, very nicely. And I'm applying really a minimal amount. I think this shade could work up to like a true tan skin. And for me, if I just again use like a light hand, it can be very, very natural. So I feel like even if you are fair skin tone, as long as you're not like super cool, you can still make this shade work. Just be a little bit more careful. This collection is from the Little Angel collection. Is their cream blush, and I do have 3 shades. The shade 01, 02, and 03. Let's swatch them one by one. 1, Secret Lily. It's a little bit too pale for me. For me, this is almost like a highlights shade. And the shade 02. By the way, their packaging all in different shades. Like the packaging look all different for different shades, which I kind of like. So if you just remember what the packaging looks like, you could tell what shade is what. 02 is like actually a similar shade, but a little bit, just a little bit more vibrant, a tiny little bit. And the shade 03, this shade probably is the only shade that actually is a blush for me. See, it's a peachy pink blush. Maybe you would ask, why do I buy 3 shades and 2 shades don't work for me? Because their official photo, especially the application photo, looks so just not accurate. I will just see that person, look at that color, and I think that it's gonna work on me, so I bought that shade, and it arrived to be too light. And it repeated 2 times. Until the 3rd time, I just directly bought a shade that looks like low-key a little too dark for me. It was a shade that can work on me, but looks a little bit light. So that's your stance when you shop at Flower Nose. For the colorful makeup, if you think this shade is just for you, maybe you should go darker. That's what I do right now. Maybe let's layer the shade 02 and 03. The shade 02. Like, can you tell? Like, it's a very light shade. I mean, if I'm going for that look, sure. Like, you can add a little bit pinkiness to it. It's just the shade overall is a lighter shade, and I have some shades from that color corrector. You can still consider this as a blush, it's just very light. And I'm layering the shade 03. And now you can see it's like a little bit more vibrant and more suitable for my skin tone. I would say the formulation is great. Is this skin finish is not glowy, but it's also not like super matte, and it's very easy to blend. It's a very smooth type of formulation. I just hope they do like darker shades, or at least they make their slightly darker shade in their global range available for all markets, because I suspect the darker shade that they release on their global website is just like a shade for me. It probably is not even dark enough for true tan skin. I am light, medium, warm olive. Yeah, and the camera is making me look a little bit paler than I am because of the lighting. For powder, I have two. One pressed, this is the same from the Strawberry Cupid collection, and this is their just called pressed powder, the shade 01. It's supposed to be, oh, the puff almost fell out. It has like two layers. There's a puff on the bottom layer, and here is your product. It's supposed to be a purple powder, but I just don't see it. Maybe if you compare this to like a true white item, it would look like slightly purple, like you see there's like a slight hint, but basically on its own it just looks like it's white. And let me swatch this. I would say this one looks like it's gonna have like a severe white cast, but it's actually like okay. I can bear with this level of like a white cast. It's just slightly whitening or like brightening. And I have another one. This is from the Swan Ballet series. This is their Music Box Loose Setting Powder in the shade 01. This is such a pink shade. It's like almost look like a blush. Like, can you see that? Like, isn't that almost a blush? Some of the blush they release is lighter than this. So I don't know. And by the way, if you're gonna ask, oh, like why you bought this shade if you don't think it's gonna work for you, it's because this is a gift with purchase, so I don't get to choose. And if I don't remember wrong, the other shade from this range is also a colorful shade. So I don't know, why do they make their setting powder darker of a shade than their blush? I don't know. I sometimes can see a little bit of a pink hint when I use this one. So I actually, if we are talking about shade, I prefer this one. But the formulation is very, very nice. And I think it's suitable for oily skin, like a normal to oily. I'm not gonna say it doesn't work for dry skin because I don't have dry skin. I'm just saying I think it's good for oily skin. It's very smoothing and it looks very nice on the skin and is somewhat oil controlling. Not the drying kind, but a little bit oil controlling. Well, I really can speak way better than I am when I was filming in the morning. Because today I'm not going to the office and it's like noon time, so my brain is much more functional right now and my face don't look as puffy as when I was filming in the morning. Well, I hope I get this luxury every time, but yeah, in the reality I just have to film in the morning. The hair is messy as usual because I'm the worst at doing my hair. Every time I try to do it, it just ended up looking more messy. I don't know. And I have the most straight type of hair, so I don't even know why I managed to make it messy, but whatever. Let's use this half and half. The pressed one on the left side. I need to blend this. Like, it's pretty mattifying. It's not even that much powder and I think the half of my face is like mattified. Today my skin is not at its best, especially around my nose, with the use of tretinoin, but I do think the finish is pretty nice. Right, it looks pretty smoothing. I really like this powder and it's not making my face like much lighter. Maybe a tiny little bit, but you know, compared to this side, I think it still look roughly the same. So as long as you just like not trying to pack like a lot of the product on, I don't think it's gonna be like super bright. And let's do the other side with the pink powder. I usually blend this with some of my other powders to tone down the pink tint, like mix with some other like HD powder. They mix well. I think this is more of like HD powder type of base when it comes to formulation. It just, they give it a little bit of a pink tint. Smells pretty nice. I can't put my finger on like how it smells, but it smells like old time makeup, and it's like very faint, so maybe you are not even gonna be able to tell it. It's just because it's on the brush and it's like right on my nose. Like I feel like this side is a little bit more matte than this side, right? And that's why I say like it's more oil controlling, like it can control the oil with less product. And can you tell it's just like a little bit pink than this side, like a little bit, because I didn't use too much. I would say I love the finish of this side slightly more than this side. Flower Nose do have like a very great overall powder formulation. I hope they do more like setting powders, like loose setting powders with this formulation. I hope they do, like with a skin color. I want so hard from them to have like a skin color. Eyebrow, I have one from their midsummer fairytale collection again. It's their eyebrow palette in the shade 02. The packaging is so cute, right? Like you cannot like look past their product packaging, right? Like they are all so well made. There are some like cringe looking ones like in their collection. That's not my cup of tea, but every single item that I have personally purchased, I have been loving. Like a lot of them even is not like my normal style. Like do you ever see me wearing super girly clothes? It's all very simple and plain, right? But you know, this one being so girly and so like complicated, it normally wouldn't be my cup of tea, but because it looks so pretty, I just love it. And the fact that they always make the effort to make their item like, how to say, like a little bit detectable, or like a little bit differentiate from different shade, it just make it like even more impressive because their product is already very pretty, and they, you know, they step one step further to even differentiate a packaging for each shade. I think that's impressive, and given the fact that their packaging is so well made and their formulation is often great, I don't think their price is too high. It's not expensive in China, but I do feel like in like abroad countries, especially outside of Asia, it is not affordable price, but I still don't think that's like too expensive for the formulation. The only complaint I have for them, I cannot emphasize enough, is the shade range. So I really think if they want to go further, they have every potential to be so. It just, they need to extend their range to be more inclusive rather than, you know, now they only, I feel like they barely covers me a lot of the times. So yeah, I don't know what to say about that. So this eyebrow powder palette, I think the color selection is good and the formulation is okay. I don't think this is the product that I would recommend you to buy, even though I don't think it's bad. It just like, why this, right? Why this one? You have plenty other choices, and if you ever, you know, want to purchase from this brand, this is probably the last product I would ever recommend. I don't even think of this product that much. Again, not because it's not good, it's an eyebrow powder, you know. I'm pretty sure you already got your eyebrow product that you love. Just use that. No need to buy another one from them. And this little brush they give you is kind of shitty. It's kind of flimsy. So these two, I think I often use this one. Again, the packaging. Oh, the lighting. The packaging is so pretty, right? I think this is also Strawberry Cupid. I bought a lot from this collection. It's just called Makeup Palette. Their serious name, like their line or collection name, is always so fancy, and their product name is just face palette, mascara, like very simple, which I kind of appreciate that. I actually hate the way Charlotte Tilbury named their product. It's like 3D, airy, skin finish, flawless, airbrushed, like filtered foundation. Like it's a million buzzword. It feels like the title in a like e-commerce site, like you know, the title you see on Amazon. It feels like that. I don't like that. So I actually like the way they named their product. The like collection name is fancy and fitting, and the product name is just simple. And I have the shade 02. This, I believe, is also not available outside of Asia, or at least they did not release this shade globally, and they replaced this shade with another more vibrant shade, which I guess is good. But why not, you know, also include this one but add another shade for the global market? I understand that shade probably wouldn't sell that well in the like Asian market because people like more like, you know, less saturated shade. But you know, why not include this one? I feel like the global market people are gonna like this one as well. I'm glad I bought this one rather than the more peachy option. This is actually such a great palette and I use it all the time. I think this is low-key like a eyeshadow slash blush palette, but this one, because it's like such a pale pink shade, I use to highlight my under eyes, and this shade I could use as a nose contour, and this one is of course a blush, and the rest of them I can just normally use as my eyeshadow. So this is for me like a complete multifunctional all-in-one palette, which I think I probably include this in my all-in-one palettes review. The all-in-one palettes are a big deal in C Beauty. Like a lot of brands does it, and this is one of my favorite one because the shade is like so neutral, leaning to cool, and the sparkle. This sparkle is so pretty. Like, look at that. It looks wet, right? And I'm not even like going that hard with that. It's like so pretty. I have like a very narrow eyelid space, but if you have like a very big, large eyelid space, this gonna look so beautiful on you. And plus all of the other neutral to cool tone shade go with this taupey glitter. It's just so beautiful. It just... One thing about this palette is the formulation is quite powdery. Like, I don't think they are pressed very firmly, so they have a lot of kickoff. That's the only thing. And maybe let's swatch for you. I was talking for so long without even swatching it. Okay, this is the swatch. It's a little bit messy of a swatch. As I always do swatch like that for some reason. I wouldn't say the blush and the powders are very pigmented, but it's for sure enough for me. And the other palettes is from their Butterfly Cloud Color collection. Is the embossed highlight and contour palettes in the shade 02. I think they have another shade that's cooler, but even this one, I think it's just neutral. It's not too warm. It just looks warmer next to the other one. And they have one shimmer highlight, one matte highlight. a touch warmer contour and a touch more neutral leaning to cool one, and it's all pretty pigmented. This one is more pigmented than the one we just talked about. Like, see that? It's more of a solid color, and I think you can tell how more gray the color on the top is. Let's use a little bit of each. On the left side, this one for nose contour. Like, be very careful, it's like very powdery. I don't know if you saw the cloud of powder there. It's like a great shadowy shade. Just be careful because it was intended to be an eyeshadow, so it's more pigmented than your usual contouring shade. And wiping off my brush, let's use a blend of this shade because I think these two shades are too close. I think they could do a little bit more different than this. Like, I feel like it's like a waste of opportunity to include two shades that's like a little bit more different. But it's fine. The shade itself is good. It's like a nice shade for nose contour, and I might use a little too much because how pigmented they are. I actually prefer more like sheer contour powder, but I don't mind these because they blend well. It's just you got to control the amount you use better. A little bit of this pink shade as under eye highlight. Like, can you see the brightening effect? Don't use too much. If you use too much, it's gonna look heavy. So just use a very loose brush and use a little bit. And wiping down this one, I'm gonna use this shade on the other side, which this one is more of a skin color. So it's gonna be a tiny bit more natural or subtle looking. But I used both of them like very sparingly. Like, let me blend this a little bit. I feel like I was like a little bit too heavy-handed. Yeah, like that. I overall like both of these, but I think I like this one way more because I feel like this one serves every purpose this one can. Well, I guess this shade would be better for like people if you want to use it on your face, like other than your nose. And I would say you probably would like cannot use this one for your like face contour. That I would say, but still I feel like that the other one is better and more interesting than this one. Not that this one is bad again. It's like if you want a very pigmented face palette, I think this one is good. Eyeshadows, I have 6 of them to talk about. This one first because I think this is probably the earliest, one of the earliest collection. And this is already discontinued if I'm not wrong. So I will only briefly talk about these, and I wouldn't even do a full swatch because I don't think it's that necessary since you cannot get it anymore. I think this palette, the glitter, is the most amazing formulation. The other one, the colors are great, and I see a lot of people love this palette and want it to be back on the shelf. But I personally always found the mattes a little bit too sheer and sometimes can be patchy. So I don't think this is gonna be my top recommendation. This Swan Ballet collection, 6 color shadow palette. One is in 01 White Swan and the other is 02 Black Swan. I think they have another shade that is like a pink shade, so I guess the shade may be Pink Swan, I don't know. But I love this collection. If I would recommend one eyeshadow palette from this brand, it would be this one because I think the formulation is the greatest. It just, I hope they have more colors. They only have 3. And I think this is my most often used one because the shade is just easy, you know. There's 4 mattes in the middle. And I would say this is not like a full pigment type of like eyeshadow, but I think they are pigmented enough, right? Medium to high pigmentation. And I think this is one of the collection that's like more on the fuller pigmentation side from their range. And there's one shimmer and one glitter. The glitters are so pretty from this range. And on top of that, the packaging is so cute, so pretty, while still like kind of slim and compact. Not as the other ones, like they're all like sort of bulky and like big and heavy, but this one is still like a palm-sized palette with 6 shades. I really like this collection. And the other shade is just so beautiful and so unique, the black swan shade. And I like this packaging more. I think it has more contrast. And how beautiful is this? I don't use this nearly as much purely because my eyeshadow skills. I don't know how well I can pull these off, but see, like the pigmentation is really there, this collection. Again, I think this is the more pigmented collection from them. They have different formulation and pigmentation level for each of their collection. And the glitter here, again, are so pretty. I think this one, the top one, has like more of a shimmer one and the full glitter one. And this one is just 2 glitters. One is like just slightly finer, and this one is like a dual chrome. On the camera it might look silver, but in real life it also looks kind of pink, so it has some shift. It's so beautiful. Again, if I would recommend one collection, it would be this one, if you can find the shade that you like. I heard a lot of people love the pink one, but I just don't know how well the pink one can work on my warm skin tone, and I'm afraid that it's gonna be like a little bit too pale for me. Maybe it would be not, because the peachy one looks just fine on me and it's like deep enough for me. So yeah, maybe not, but yeah, I love this collection. And the third one, I think the next one probably is this one. I'm like trying to go with the order of the launch date. This is their Little Angel collection 9 color eyeshadow palette in the shade 02 Weeping Angel. This collection is one of the most beautiful from them. Like, look at this design, and the thought, I think it's like a church, especially when you open it. It looks like that colorful glass at a church, right? And I always say this, but I think this is low-key a dupe for the Pat McGrath palette, especially this shade, right? I think there's one shade from them. Either it's the shade 01, like one of the first launch from Pat McGrath had these like Bliss Astral shades, and I think this is low-key a dupe. Low-key, okay, only low-key, not a dupe. And the color selection is like so pretty. I just love to stare at this. I think they have another shade that's more wearable. To be honest, I don't use this palette that much because of the shade selection, which is also the reason why I bought this one. If I bought the other more boring shade, I'm sure I would use it more. Let me swatch the matte shade first. You have like 6 mattes, which is not bad at all. And for this palette, I would say it's like sheerer than the Swan Ballet one. To be honest, I don't really understand the selection of these bottom 2 shades. I feel like they are like a little bit different than the other shade in the same packaging, like vibe of the shade wise. And the glitters again are so beautiful. I think the glitters in every palette are beautiful. Like, how pretty is that? Would you say this is like a low-key Pat McGrath dupe? Especially if I just layer a little bit with this blue one. Like, how pretty is that? I would say I would love these shades, pastel shades, to be more pigmented. Some of them is a little bit sheer, but I would say these type of shades are normally the hard to do ones, right? Like, at least they're not like powdery and hard to blend. It blends beautifully on your eyes. It just I hope it could be like more pigmented, because I remember sometimes when I use this, I can lose a little bit of the color, especially if I try to layer it. It might have to be like my eyeshadow skills. I don't have that amazing eyeshadow skills again. But yeah, like if I would say one thing, I just hope this shade could be more pigmented. But overall, a great palette. And then I think the next would be the Midsummer Fairy Tale collection, and this is embossed 5-color eyeshadow palette. And this palette is just like a very easy to use, beginner friendly palette. 1 glitter, 5 mattes, like, and the shade is also very easy to understand. I don't think it can get more easy than this one. And this one has slightly less pigmentation than the Swan Ballet one, but it's still enough, especially for daily usage. I love this one as well, and it blends beautifully. I love these like neutral colors. It's again so easy to use. And the last one would be from their Cloud Color Butterfly Cloud Color collection. It's their embossed 6-color eyeshadow palette in the shade 01. This is such a fall autumn shade, but I would say this palette does not stand out in their collection for me. Like, I always forget about this one, but the formulation is not even bad. It's just like not as rememberable for me than the others. Like, you can see it's still pretty nice. It's like even on the more pigmented side, right? I think it probably just because this color story is not very unique, so like I just don't. And also I feel like the packaging is not as rememberable as the other ones. I don't know, but I think it's great because it's not bulky, right? Like, it's still a palm-sized palette, so it's good. And I also had one single liquid glitter, and this is from their Swan Ballet collection. It's the shade 03. If I use this on my eyelid, I only use like a tiny little bit and I blend it. Like, see how intense that is. This is a great one as well. I used a lot liquid glitter eyeshadows in the past from Western makeup brands, especially from Stila, right? I think in a period of time, the liquid eyeshadows glitters from Stila is such a hot item, but every time I use them, I feel like it burns my eye a little bit, but this one does not. Maybe it's because the base they use, you know, in their formulation. So today I want to use my favorite, which is the Swan Ballet palette. I really like this shade. This peach like shade is kind of unique, hard to find, and I feel like they can also be used as blush as well if you got like a precise brush. And it's just so easy to blend on the eyes. And that's pretty much it. I don't even think I need to do much with this one. This is not an unpopular opinion to like this one the best. On the Red Note, on Xiaohongshu, it's also like people's favorite there from Flower Nose. They often discontinue their product as well. I just hope they never discontinue it. And the darker shade, this one is pretty powdery as well, so you got to be a little bit careful. Why does it look so like patchy on the camera when in real life it's like looks very blended? Maybe because of the lighting, I don't know. the sunlight right now, the sun is very strong. It's like almost in my face. Like I can barely open my eye. Layer a little bit of this peachy glitter on top. This is more like a fine glitter, not like a chunky one. So it's like low-key wearable. And the other one. Now let's curl my eyelash and do eyeliner and mascara. The eyeliner and mascara I'm about to talk about are both from their Butterfly Cloud Color collection. I think they only had liquid eyeliner and mascara from that collection, right? And I talk about them all the time actually. First, the liquid eyeliner. The tip is so skinny and it's such a perfect shape, so it's so easy to use. And so easy to use, and it's a brush tip. I always use this to fill in my lash line. And also draw the wing as well. Yeah, it's again very easy to use. The mascara, I think this is also just called mascara, right? Since their naming are always so simple, and this is the black shade. I think they have another shade. And the brush is like a slightly curved brush, and the like effect is very nice too. I think it's pretty lengthening while still have some volume. It's just with my extremely oily eyelids, this is a little bit smudgy. Not on the bad side, like it's still significantly better than a lot of other mascaras I have used, but again, it's still smudge a little bit. But I like how it looks, how it makes my eyelash looks like. It's pretty strong of a effect if you if I consider like the range of mascara that I would use. It's not like very spattery, very dramatic, but yeah, for me personally this is on the stronger side already, but I still think it's on the natural side, right? For cheeks, we got a bunch of blushes. So for this one, this is from their like pearl shell or something, one of their recent collections. I did a video specifically talk about this, so I would include that video in this section, you know, at the end of the blush application, or you know, this blush section, and I would mainly try to use this one on camera. I think for their powder blush, they almost always have like a similar formulation. It's like a matte fine powder, almost feel like a face powder with a little bit color. And I think the collection I just said was one of the newer formulation from them. It's like more of a satiny, glowy, semi-glowy formulation, whereas the others are all matte. I think this is one of their first collection, and this is the most viral product from them in China. Unicorn series embossed blush in the shade 01 Snow Pearl. The packaging is actually not as impressive as their later collection, but still cute, and it's like got this unicorn embossing. People like to use this one as under eye brightener rather than like blush, as clearly you can see that is definitely not a blush shade. This is so powdery. I don't know how well you can tell, like powder flying everywhere. And people just again apply it Well, why so dark? But can you see this side is slightly pinkier than this side? And look slightly more plump. I think that's why people like it. I like it too, but I would say I don't use it as often. But the formulation is pretty nice. If this is your cup of tea, maybe go for it. And I think the next collection that they launched, or like, you know, the collections that I have that next to that one, was the Moonlight Mermaid series, the jewelry blush in the shade 05. I don't know if this collection is still available, but this is a ombre blush. I'm not bothered to swatch all three sections because I always just blend them together and use it. It's like peachy pink shade. My hand is so dirty, but I think you still get the shade. It's a pinky peachy shade. I think it's nice. The powders are like almost all the same formulation, with a little bit, sometimes a little bit of like exception. And I think the next one they did is the Swan Ballet collection, and this is their Swan Ballet series embossed blush in the shade 04. It's like a peachy shade, right? Like pretty straightforward. A peachy shade. A little bit darker than the last one. Again, my hand is so dirty. I like this one as well. The powder formulation is pretty similar to the other ones. And the next one from them, I think, is this Midsummer Fairy Tale collection. The Velvet Embossed Blush in the shade 04. I don't use this one as much, but again, it's a peachy shade, but it's a little more vibrant than the other one. The last one, the Butterfly Cloud Color collection in the shade Rouge Box Dual Blush in the shade 05 Pear Wood. It's again a dual blush. I sometimes feel like this is a little bit powdery. So even though I like this shade the most because it's like more nudie compared to the other ones, but I don't think I like this powder formulation that much. I feel like their powder blush are not my favorite from them. I like their cream formulation, you know, for cheeks, for blushes, way better than these. So I actually, if we talk about powder blush, I use this one more than the other ones I just talked about. This one is more pigmented. These ones, I sometimes just feel like they're a little sheer, and I like struggle to give a nice effect on my face. I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like because it's sheer, it just does not cover my face very evenly. Maybe let's try these two, because I have never used them side by side. So this Midsummer one on this side, like, can you tell that it's not that pigmented? Like, this is the most vibrant one. See? Like, do you think it's at its full potential? I hope they can be a little bit less dry and a little bit more pigmented and a little bit more creamy. It's already creamy, but it's like kind of a dry creamy. I hope they can have like just a little bit moisture. I think I like this one more. It's because the thing is, this dry, a little bit sheer formulation works well with this type of like under eye brightening powder. But when it comes to like actual blush color, I prefer like a different formulation. I think I prefer Joocyee blushes when it comes to CBT blush formulation, like powder ones, and the Girl Code one. These two I really like. And this is the Pear Wood one, the dual one, blended together. Low-key, this one is more pigmented, right? More pigmented one than the Midsummer one. And I always feel like their color even look so different in the pan. Maybe because I always choose similar ones, but on the face it all ended up look the same. Again, that probably is my own fault. I always choose like same looking ones. So yeah, I don't hate them. I have to clarify. I don't hate them. I don't think they're bad formulation. Just not my favorite, my personal favorite. And here I'm gonna insert the other video I was talking about this collection. Today we're talking about these blushes. They are the newest collection from Flower Nose. It's their, I believe it's their Shell Pearl collection that they just released, which is all relevant to, of course, shells and pearls and the ocean, all that stuff. And you know, the case look like a shell, and it has all this Patrick on it. I don't know what do you call this in English. The only reference I have is, I know this is the animal from SpongeBob and his name is Patrick. So yeah, I'm just gonna refer this as Patrick. They have like a couple of Patricks on their packaging, and every case has a different color, and they in total have 5 different shades. So what this formula is different than their previous formula is that they have more of a satiny finish, where their previous collections blushes are all matte. That's the one reason I got this. Another reason is they finally released some deeper shades. Well, I feel like I shouldn't call this deeper shades, but I feel like for Flower Nose, that's already the deeper shades. Like this one, I don't think they have had something this vibrant in their previous blush collection, like the powder blushes. They might have some like a creams that's like a little bit on the deeper side, but if we just talk about powder, I think this is the deepest we get so far. And for this collection, this is the only thing I was interested into, so I got all of the shades and none of the other products. And today we're purely gonna talk about this collection, every single shade, the swatches, not only on my hands but also on my cheeks. I am wearing one shade right now, and of course also my thoughts about the formulation. I think I want to proceed this first talking about the formulation and how I think, and then we're gonna dive into each individual shades. So for the formulation, when you swatch it, you are gonna see it has this very visible satiny finish. And if you just look at the pan, you can also see that. Let me grab another matte one from their previous collection. For example, this one, I think this is from their midsummer collection, and you can see it's a visible difference. And they used to always have this like fully matte formulation, no sheen or shine whatsoever. So that's why I was so interested. And even in the swatch, you can see there is like a skin-like, slightly satiny finish. But I feel like on my face, you know, as I said, I already applied this on my face. I feel like it's less visible. If you are already wearing a more shiny foundation, not shiny, like dewy foundation, I feel like this is might be low-key mattifying for you. They won't add more shine or sheen to your face. And I am wearing a fully matte face today, and this is what I get, okay? So just don't expect too much of the shine here. It's really just satiny, like the tiniest amount of glow it can give you. I think this is probably the amount of glow that a satiny matte foundation can give you, right? So if you are someone you don't really like fully matte blushes, but at the same time you also don't really want like a very shimmery one, and you don't really like to use creams and liquids, because I feel like powder blush is always the easier choice. Just my opinion though. So to be honest, this was less shiny than I thought it would be. I thought it would have a little bit more shine, but at the same time I do appreciate that it's not one of those type of like metallic highlighter type of blushes, because a lot of times those blushes are just highlighter formulas giving a little bit of blush color. You know what I mean, right? So this is not that at all. This is just your normal blush but having a little bit of a skin finish. So that's the expectation here. Another thing is I feel like this collection overall is leaning on the cooler side, regardless how it looks in the pan. This is probably the warmest color. Like this is only the nude color here. The other ones are all like pinkish. But I feel like you can see on my face is like looking kind of pink or red in a way. It's not like the warm nude here. You wouldn't get that on your face. And I believe this is the more or the most popular shades among this whole range, at least in the Chinese beauty community. I don't know about situations outside of China, but this is the one that is selling out on a lot of stores in China, and it's the number 04. And this also is my personal favorite, because I just feel like even though it looks kind of warm in the pan, but on the face is like a neutral pinky-ish, peachy nude type-ish thing, right? It's very easy to use. But the other colors, I overall feel like they are all either already you can tell it's on the cooler side just from the pan, and they can show up even a little bit more cool on your face, or it looks like it's a very like reddish vibrant shade, but in the end it do look like more of a cooler toned pink on your face. At least on me, I am a warm olive skin tone, so this can kind of sway my opinion on some of the products, because a lot of color look kind of cool toned against my super warm olive toned skin. Now let's talk about each individual shades. I'm gonna start just following their number, 01 and 02. Okay, 01 is this one in the gray or silver with a slightest hue of aqua type of color. This is a baby pink, like a pale baby pink color. It looks like that on the face as well, and I think this is a little bit too pale for me. I think I'm better to use this to mix with other deeper shades or put down as a base layer with some deeper tones blended at the center type-ish thing. I don't think you can use this as your sole blush product if you are around my skin tone. I feel like today's weather and the lighting is showing my skin tone pretty accurately. Maybe also it's because I am wearing like a super white shirt, so against it I think I look more close to my real skin tone. So yeah, giving that reference, I think you can tell that it's gonna be a little bit lighter for me, but I don't hate this shade. And also I feel like this shade, maybe because it's pale, it doesn't look like it's very satiny. Like it almost like it's almost matte. I feel like I especially cannot tell there's any even in the slightest of a shine added to my face when I use this one. Not my favorite, but not bad either. I think it's just what your skin tone and your preference is for the blush. And let's go with 02, which is a lavender one. Actually, I will show you the footage later, but comparing this one with the previous one, you're gonna think they are very different colors, right? But they are actually not. On my face, maybe again because they are a little bit too light for me, they look almost the same on my skin. So if you are around my skin tone and you're considering these two shades, just get one. Okay, just get one. I don't think you need two. Actually, if you don't know how to use this type of shade, I suggest you to buy none of these two. This is, again, like I said, more of a layering blush for my skin tone, or blending type of blush. Or also I can use this under my eyes. The powder formulation is very fine and easy to blend, so I don't think it's gonna be an issue under my eye. Maybe I can try right now. Let's try right now. And I have this little puff that they give me as a gift for the order. And you can just use this little puff to apply. I feel like it's for sure is brightening, but in person it does look a little bit purple. So I feel like I do need like a similar toned shade of blush to blend with it. Today's blush is not at the same color family with this blush, so it does look like it's kind of floating here like a chunk of purple. But I think if it's like cooler toned blush follow with it, it's gonna look fine. And I'm gonna try with the lightly pink one. And yeah, this one I personally feel like is way better. I don't know how it's looking on the camera, but yeah, in real life, this pinky one blends better with this one, and it's not like floating on my face as much. So I actually do feel like applying with a puff is better than blush, because this collection as a whole is not very pigmented. It's on the sheer side of a blush. So that's the first two. Just pick one for you preference if you want one of that sort. They are not that different on the face. I feel like right now you can even tell on the camera it doesn't look that much different. 3 and 4, right? These two I'm gonna show you one by one, but there also would be a comparison in the end of both of the footage. I was wrong. This is not 03 and 04. This is 03 and 05, but these two are more similar, so I grouped them and compared them together. This deeper one is 05 and this lighter one is 03. And now I'm gonna show you the separate footage as I talk about these. So the shade 03 is like a warmer, deeper, peachy type of color. So I fully thought they would show as a peachy color on my face, but in the end it actually didn't. I think it looked more pink than peachy or like a coral shade as it looked in the pan. So that's why I say I think these are all leaning on the cooler side, which I don't know how I feel about, because I have nothing against cooler blush, but the thing is 4 out of the 5 shades here I feel like are more cool toned. I just feel like it lacks some diversity here, even though they look like they have diversity in the pan. But this color, I feel like it's just like a mid-tone pink on me. And I also do feel like this one doesn't give me that much of a sheen as much as this one gives me. I feel like you can always tell in the pan, right? Like this one look way shinier than this one. I don't know why that is. Maybe different color emphasize the shine in a different level. I don't know. But yeah, this one is a mid-toned pink for me. And this one, the color 05, it also doesn't look that different than 03 on my face at least. So I think if you have a paler skin tone, you might be able to tell the difference between this a little bit more. But if you are around my skin tone and you are not someone that packs your blush on, so that is like in its full pigmentation. I don't think you are gonna, you know, get that much difference from these two shades either. I actually like these two shades, but I just feel like I'm indifferent about which one I use. I think out of the 5 shades I have, I probably just have like 3 shades. You know, it just feels like I only have 3 shades even though I have 5. And in the end is this one I already kind of showed you, the number 04, the most popular one. And I do think this one is the easiest to use. And actually in person, this one look so the even dirt-ish type of color. It looks very beige, so it doesn't make sense why it look kind of red on the skin. But it does look pretty nice against my warm olive skin, at least that's how I felt. So I think if you do have warm skin and you prefer to have a warmer blush, I think this might be your only choice in this whole collection, because like I said, all of the other shades are kind of cooler toned, at least against my super warm skin tone. But in the end, I do feel like there's no big problem for this collection because the formulation is actually great. They are easy to blend. I don't see any patchiness, right? And if you use a puff, you can get it more pigmented. So I don't think I have anything to complain about the actual formulation. Other than it was a slightly, you know, weaker of a sheen than I thought it would be. But again, they don't mean like to be super shiny from the beginning. They just meant to have a satiny finish. So that's probably to be expected. It's just a matter of the color choice. I don't know if there is the level of diversity you think it is. I think it's actually not that diverse. It just goes a little bit deeper than their previous powder blushes. That's my opinion. And if I would recommend some shades, my recommendation of course is gonna be the color 04, the nude one, and maybe one of the deeper one. I feel like it's because you just rarely can get some color this deep from Flower Nose. If you want to try and you haven't found a shade that's suitable for you, all of them are too pale. I think these two are, you know, could be your choice. The color 01 and 02, I feel like even though they are pretty shades, but you can find them anywhere, literally anywhere. So I don't think there is a need to buy this in this collection unless you just want this collection. Okay, that's my thought. I think this collection had 4 shades. The other 2 shades are matte and these 2 shades are shimmery. And the more golden one, yellow, like golden, whitish golden shade is like more of a true shimmer. And this one has some glitter in it. Let me swatch. I always like just use this little corner so I don't ruin the beautiful embossing. I love this embossing, is like so insane. You can even tell just from my finger swatch. This is more smooth and this is like has more like bigger, you know, glittery stuff in it. So to be honest, if we are using on my cheeks, I always just use this slightly golden one. And I just like apply a little bit on my cheekbone. It doesn't emphasize your skin texture because the powder is very fine. I love the effect it gives. Like, see that? Like, how pretty is that? And the other one, I always, if I do use it, I don't use it much. If I do use it, I use it like maybe on my eyes. Because I don't, like, how do I even use this on my cheekbone? Like, it's pretty. right? It's pretty, but it's more of like a eyeshadow pretty, you see? I mean, if you are doing like a specific type of look, I think you can pull this highlight off on your cheekbones as well, but for me, probably no. For lips, I only have 3. Not that lip is a weak category from this brand, but for me, I just have my personal favorite. When it comes to C Beauty, lips, girl code all the way for me. So, and also their packaging a little bit too bulky for lipstick. Like, this is too bulky, so I cannot collect a lot of these, even though they look pretty. And a lot of the collection look kind of tacky as well. It's like, for example, this one. I mean, it's bulky and it's complicated, but it sometimes doesn't look that like expensive if you ask me. And I think this is from the Swan Ballet collection. Yeah, and this is the shade B04 Silver Moon, I think. And I have one from the Midsummer Fairytale collection. This is a gloss in the shade C01. And the Butterfly Cloud Color from, and in the shade C01. I think I'm okay with them. Like, again, I have my own preference, and I prefer girl code lippies because I think the shades in girl code is just more suitable for my olive skin tone. Sorry for not sitting in the middle, but I can't with this thing. Okay, let's move on this part. This one, I initially liked the shade, but I think the shade separated in here. So now the oil part and the pigment part probably separated. So a lot of time it looks kind of clear. So I don't really like this collection. I don't really recommend this one, and sometimes it low-key feels a little bit burning. I don't know. And this one is pretty similar to the Swan Ballet collection. The type of balm, like gloss balm with film firmer. So let's swatch one by one. The Swan Ballet one is more of a pink shade. Like, it's pretty, right? It's pretty. I cannot say this is like my favorite shade. I think I probably more leaning towards more of a nudie shade, which I think if I layer a lip liner, I think I'm gonna like this more. And it's like very shiny and it's pretty. And it's not, the film hasn't formed. When it's like girl code, the film former works immediately, so it's like quicker than this one. So I think that's one of the reasons I like those more as well. But again, it's not bad. It's not saying it's bad, but I just feel like I don't need it to be this bulky. I think if you just have one or two, it wouldn't be a issue for you. But for me, with my big collection, being this bulky is kind of limiting. Imagine if I bought like a full collection of this. Like, I think I'm gonna have to take half of my drawer to store it. And this one, like I said, it feels separated, and this like opening is so small, so you cannot wiggle this around. So basically you can only go up and down, which it doesn't mix well very much. Even if I just do this, it doesn't mix that well, and it only got a little bit color. Just okay. Like, the shine is pretty, but now I still like feel a little bit of like burning sensation. Does it mean to be like plumping? I don't know. And it tastes like a little bit plasticky. So this is not my favorite formulation from them. But again, the finish is pretty. Sorry for my lighting always changing because I use natural light and the natural light is kind of unpredictable. And this cloud color one. This one is the most gloss-like. It's almost like if I just press a little bit harder, this is gonna crumble. So you have to be paying attention. Again, pretty. I just don't feel like it's as nuanced of shades as like the girl code ones. If you can find your favorite shade, I think all of these can work well. So yeah, again, I think for a lot of people, the lip category is a strong category for flower nose, but for me it's not. This is actually kind of pretty. But I low-key want to use a little bit lip liner and use the pink one. Is anybody interested in a lip liner review from C Beauty? Because surprisingly, they have a lot of lip liner formulations. Okay. I think this way I'm gonna like it more. Again, I just feel like their shades need more nuance. You know, now because you're adding a lip liner, automatically it's gonna have like more nuance, right? Because it's two shades combined. So this way, I think I like this way more. And I think it's suitable for my skin tone a lot more as well. And yeah, I love the end result, and somehow my hair it look more like organized and less messy at the end of the video. And I'm pretty sure this is gonna maybe even over an hour. And I hope this is helpful for you. It's a lot of products. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.